You know, when I saw that Eberechi Eze had agreed to go to Tottenham, I remember I was cycling. I think I was going to get some food. I was cycling on the road and I was thinking, man, that just don't make no sense. That does not make no sense at all. That Eberechi Eze, after the season that he had last season, would choose to go to Spurs? Man, nah, nah. I never believed it for 1 second. In my mind, I was like, if I'm Eberechi Eze, why would I go to Tottenham Hotspur? I mean, I know Spurs are a bigger club than Crystal Palace, but the sporting projects that Crystal Palace have right now, I think it's better. I think it trumps what's going on at Spurs. And I know like Spurs are really good as well. Like they've got a good manager. You saw they won at City yesterday, and they've had a really good start to the season, right? They have 6 points. But I felt like, like looking at Crystal Palace, I don't think it's that much of a step up for a player of Eze's quality. Like, bro, Eze is top drawer. Eze is a top 10 player in the Premier League right now. Like, I'm not sure there are many players better than him at Arsenal. Now he's joined us. I could say Saliba is probably the only player that I can definitively say is better than Eberechi is. Like I can say that with confidence. I think William Saliba is better than Eze. I think Saliba is our best player. He's our most important player. And for Eze to choose to go to Spurs, I felt like that was just a whole bunch of hogwash, bro. Like I wasn't buying that. I called BS on that the first time I saw it. And like looking back at the transfer now, people say like a lot of people say he chose to go to Spurs. Like it was going to happen. I don't think so. I don't buy it. Like looking back at the timeline and how things were like, progressing, I think I mean, of course, like if you look at what was going on, you would have thought, yeah, he's going to Spurs. But like looking back and thinking at some of the things that were happening, you know what I mean? Like it looked like he had agreed personal terms with Spurs, but Spurs being Spurs, you know what they do. You know what they do. And they took their sweet time. They took long to get the deal done. At some point they were offering Richarlison, and in my mind I felt like, nah, this looks a little bit shaky. And like one of the other things that told me was like in the agreement that Spurs that and Crystal Palace had, they had agreed that Eze would play his last game in the Conference League game that they just played now, and now that he was going to Arsenal, then he didn't play in that game. So like to me that tells me that he was never going to Spurs. I don't buy it. Like I feel like to me it looks like Arsenal were trying to kind of see how much they would have to pay, and they were waiting for Spurs to do all the walking so that we could run. You know what I'm saying? Like that's essentially what happened. Like Spurs were just strung along. They were strung along for the ride, and they thought they had their man. But yeah, like in my mind, I never felt like he was going to Spurs because I thought, I thought for him, like the kind of player he is, he should be playing for a better team. Like he should be like if he was going to Manchester City, I'd be like, yeah, that's scary. If he was going to Liverpool, yeah, that's scary. Or Chelsea, that would be more like a step up than Spurs. And so like I'm not like it is it was shocking, like a great shock. But I felt like it sounded right that he's going to Arsenal. Like that made more sense in my mind. That's more of a step up for him. That's more of a, the next level, because Arsenal. Say what you want to say about them, but they are, looking to win the league. They are looking to win trophies. And I don't think Spurs are at that level. I think right now Spurs are just challenging for top four honors. You know what I mean? So, like for Eze to go to Spurs, I never saw it happening. I'm sorry, like I never saw it happening. But hey, like it's not happened. I'm very, very glad that he's come to Arsenal, because as I just said earlier on in the video, he is one of the top 10 players in the Premier League. I think he comes to Arsenal and he's probably our second or third best player right now. Like I think he's better than Odegaard. I think he is better than Declan Rice, and I don't say that much about many midfielders. I think he's better than, Gabriel as a player. I think he's better than Zubimendi as a player. He's just better, than a lot of people. And so, seeing that, the announcement, the video was beautiful, man. The intro video, that was beautiful. Seeing him at the Emirates walking out, I was hyped, bro. I was gassed. I was so happy. I was so happy to see that. And I was like, this gives Arsenal such a different dimension. It gives Arsenal a different dynamic, because he could play in different positions, and he could play on the left, right, obviously. But in certain games where it's hard to kind of break teams down, you could play him in the 10 with Odegaard, and then you could, play Zubimendi at the 6 or Declan Rice at the 6 and have the two 10s. And then you can have two wingers. You could play him on the left and have a bit more control in midfield with Zubimendi and Rice or someone else, and Martin Odegaard. Or if Odegaard is not having it, you just play him as the lone 10 and someone else on the wings, and have your Gyökeres or Havertz up front. It gives us such a different dynamic, a different threat. And one of the things that I've always been saying about Arsenal is, in the transition, when we get the ball, we're very, very slow. It feels like we just miss out on opportunities to catch teams out when they're lacking, and we also just take our sweet time getting up the pitch and trying to create chances. I think he could be a difference maker. He carries the ball really well. He's one of the best dribblers in the Premier League. He carries the ball with such grace, such beautiful ball control. Sometimes when you watch him play and when you watch him run, it seems like he's not running on the grass. Sometimes it seems like he's running above. He's just levitating. It looks like he's just floating, and that's a weapon for Arsenal. That's a different way of getting chances. That's a different way of scoring goals for Arsenal, of attacking teams. And he's one of the most creative players in the Premier League as well. So that helps Arsenal out a lot. It helps Arsenal hugely. And with him coming into the squad, that adds a little depth as well. You don't have to be dependent on players like Martinelli and Trossard to be in the starting 11, because he comes in and he's a starting player. He starts, you have Saka, you have Gyökeres, you have Martin Odegaard. And then players that were starting for Arsenal now can be on the bench and come on in the second half and change the game. I was watching the game against Spurs yesterday, and I know Manchester City lost, but when they brought in Doku, I felt that's really good. That's good squad depth, because players like Doku are bench players. They shouldn't be starting. But at Arsenal, he would I feel like Doku and Martinelli are of the similar level. Trossard's kind of similar level. I feel like there's of all three of those players, none of them is better than the other. You know what I mean? And so, like, you look at that, and we used to start with those kind of players, where Manchester City have those players on the bench. You see, like, that's a big difference in when you're challenging for titles, when you want to win trophies. We need players like that. And so, like, looking at that, like, it gives our bench more depth. It gives us more players coming off the bench, better players. So, like, I was chuffed. I'm still pretty high about that. And let's talk about the game yesterday. So, like, Arsenal played really, really well yesterday. Like, whenever you score 5 goals, it's a great game. It's a great afternoon. Like, yesterday was a very, very close to perfect day for Arsenal fans, players. It was just a really, really good day. I think the players played well. Defensively solid again. I've been saying this for a few years. William Saliba and Gabriel are the best centre-back pairing in world football. I don't care. Like, don't give me Van Dijk, Konate. Don't give me Militao or Huijsen or Rudiger at Real Madrid. I don't care. Like, no one is better than William Saliba and Gabriel as a centre-back pairing. Also have the best defense in Europe. And, like, we saw that again yesterday. Shut them out. Shut it down. It's lights out. And, like, the midfield played well too. Declan Rice had a much better game than what he had last week. Zubimendi played well, controlled the tempo, moved the ball really well, pushed and pressed nicely. I think Martin Odegaard, he wasn't bad, but again, I think it was an average performance, I have to say. Like, it was before he got injured. Saka played well. What a goal. Gyökeres scored 2 goals. I am so glad he scored. And he scored 2 goals. Madueke played well too, especially in the second half after Bukayo Saka came off injured. And then you had the kids coming on. MLS, Ethan and Max. Before the game started, I've posted on Facebook. If the score is about like 3-0 and there's maybe like 10 minutes to go, bring on Max. It's Max time. And I think he came on much earlier than that. I think he must have come on in the 65th minute or something like that. He came on really early. But we were up 4-0 at that point. And he played excellently. Like, him coming on and doing the things that he did. That kid is not 15 years old. I'm sorry, like, that's a lie. That's a lie. I don't buy he's 15 years old. Max Dowman is probably 26 or he's 26 years old or something like that. He must be at least 20. He's not 15 years old. I'm sorry. The way he plays, I mean, like, we saw him in pre-season and we thought, okay, that's just pre-season. But then seeing him play yesterday again, like, he's just that kid. He's that boy, you know what I'm saying? And, like, Arsenal played well, scored 5 goals. I do have to say, though, like, watching Arsenal play yesterday, as well as we played, scoring 5 goals, keeping a clean sheet, the young players coming on and doing their thing, you know, the new players coming on, doing their thing. Madueke, shout out, like, played well. Gyökeres, shout out. Zubimendi, new boys, you know what I mean? I do have to say that Arsenal could have played better than that. I know it might sound crazy, but I don't think Arsenal played as well as I've seen in the past. Like, I've seen Arsenal play superb football and not score 5 goals. I've seen Arsenal play better games and not score 5 goals. I've seen that from Arsenal. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen that from my team. And I know it sounds crazy, but there were points where I'm like, we could play better than this. We could create more chances. We could be faster. We could be more fluid. especially before, like especially when the score was still 0-0. When I looked at the game, I felt like it does seem a little bit stale, a little bit slow. We could create more chances, but still, it was a really good performance. It wasn't a bad performance at all. It was a really good performance, but it can be better. It can be better. Now, everything was perfect yesterday, except something had to go wrong, right? I mean, like that was disheartening. Like Martin Odegaard came off, and I know Ethan Nwaneri played well. I think Ethan Nwaneri played better than Martin Odegaard when he came on. And then Bukayo Saka came off, hamstring injury. Again, hamstring injury. Like, that is worrying. That is worrying because next week we play Liverpool and we don't have two of our top 5 players, you know? And also, it is worrying because moving forward, especially for Bukayo Saka, Martin Odegaard, slightly different because it's like one of those freak injuries where it's not a muscle injury that occurs frequently because of, you know, you play too much, you play too many games, too many minutes. He fell on his shoulder, and he had a similar injury last year because he injured his ankle. Now those kind of injuries, those are freak-ish injuries, and I think Martin Odegaard will be back and he'll be fine. The worrying one is for Bukayo Saka because it's a hamstring injury again, and like people in the medical field will tell you, once you have an injury in a certain body part, like there's a high chance of it reoccurring again, and it's happened again for Bukayo Saka. I don't know how many weeks or games he's gonna miss. Hopefully not the 3 months. How long was he out for last year? 4 months? Hopefully not 4 months again. I mean, we do have good players to play now in his place. I thought Madueke played really, really nicely yesterday. He gave a lot of problems to the fullback. He was fast. He took on players. I think, like, dribbling and taking on players, Madueke could probably be just as good as Bukayo Saka. But Bukayo Saka's quality, his final product, is far better than what Madueke can do. Sorry. Like, you just look at the goal. Look at the goal. Like, the finish with his right foot, the power that he generated. I don't think Madueke can do that with his right foot. Like, he can get a chance, but I'm not sure he's going to be doing that with his right foot. And so that's the kind of quality I'm talking about, like the final product. You know what I'm saying? But we do have Madueke. I think now we have Eze who can play in the 10. He can slot in for Martin Odegaard. I think next week we could potentially see Eze in the 10 instead of in the left side of the attack. And then we could probably bring in, on the left, we could probably bring in Martinelli or Trossard. Now you see, like, that kind of thing, it helps a lot because last season when we had all those injuries, we couldn't do that, you know? And so now we can. So, like, it is worrying on that part for Bukayo Saka. I think Martin Odegaard will be back soon, probably. Or, like, if he is away for a while, there are players who can play in his position. Martin Odegaard. And I know I just spoke about Madueke, but I think Ethan Nwaneri can play there. Eze obviously is going to be there to create chances. So it is slightly worrying. But other than that, what a perfect day. What a perfect day for Arsenal. What a great day. Like, building up to today, the Eze news, and then the game itself, scoring 5 goals, clean sheet. everyone playing really well. The announcement for Eberechi Eze, you know what I mean? Like the vibe, the feeling in the stadium. It's like I wish I was there. Like you could see the fans were so happy. You could see the fans were up for it. You know what I mean? It was just a very beautiful, bright day for Arsenal. So next week, Anfield, tough away game. Let's see how that goes. Hopefully we play really, really well. Hopefully we don't play like we did against United. If we play like we did against Manchester United, I'm telling you, we're going to lose. Because Liverpool are not going to waste their chances like how Manchester United did. Or they will create more chances and they will definitely be taking their chances. Man United had played well, had so much possession. They created half chances, but they never created like clear cut, gotta take this chances. And I think Liverpool will do that. So if we play like we played against Manchester United next week, we're going to lose. Hopefully it's another kind of Leeds performance. Even if we don't score 5 goals against Liverpool, but let's try and get a win. Let's try and I want to see Arsenal go out there and win the game at Anfield, because like with Eze coming in, I think we can go pound for pound with Liverpool. I think so. And in order for us to give us the mindset to say we want to win the league, we can win the league, we have to go to places like Anfield and beat Liverpool. We have to win at Anfield. So let's see. That's a lot of pressure, but let's see how the game goes. Anyway, I'm happy. Today I'm happy and want to have a good day. So I hope you also have a good day. I hope you also have a very, very nice weekend. Also, remember to comment down below, like, subscribe to the channel. Look us up on Instagram and on Facebook at We Talk Football 24 and on Facebook at We Talk Football. Whoo! Beautiful, beautiful day. Anyway, cheers. Have a nice one. Awareness.